Hello, everyone, and welcome once again to Sean's Horror Corner. As always, thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate you tuning in. Today, just me today. It was Rob and Kaylee from That Horror Couple were not able to make it, so I'm flying solo today. But we're going to be talking about Hello, Mary Lou Prom Night 2 from 1987. Rob and Kaylee had come on with me, gosh, I think it was last year sometime, to talk about the original Prom Night. We're going to talk about the sequel, but like I said, they just weren't able to make it this time. They'll be back, don't worry. But tonight, just me. So we're going to talk about, Hello, Mary Lou, Prom Night 2. Tagline for the film, You Can't Keep a Bad Girl Down. Brief synopsis for the movie. When Hamilton High's prom queen of 1987, Mary Lou Maloney, is killed by her boyfriend, she comes back for revenge 30 years later. Film was released October 16th of 1987, directed by Bruce Pittman, written by Ron Oliver, produced by Peter R. Simpson, distributed by the Samuel Goldwyn Company here in the U.S., North Star Entertainment in Canada, a runtime of 97 minutes, budget of $2.5 million, box office of $2.7 million. So it didn't do great at the box office, just barely, not great. Cast for the film: Michael Ironside, Wendy Lyon, Justin Lewis, Lisa Schrage, and Richard Monette. Let's stop there for a moment and let's talk about cast and characters for this film. First of all, and we'll get into it more here in just a few moments, but obviously, really doesn't have anything to do with the first movie. That's a bummer because I think the first movie is such a classic, one of those classic early 80s slashers that I think to this day people enjoy even more probably than they did when they saw it the first time. It's just one of those type of movies. This one, the cast and characters, I don't know. I don't feel like the acting is great in this movie. I hate saying stuff like that because, they probably do better than I could do, but I don't feel like the performances are, excuse me, that great. Michael Ironside is fine. That's the only face I recognize. I've seen him in multiple things. But yeah, everybody else was just kind of there. Really, I feel like the best performance, and I'll have to look ahead here for a moment because I just totally drew a blank on the character's name in the film. Let me just look real quick. Yeah, I'll probably have to come back to it. The girl that you're not supposed to like, I feel like her performance is the best in the movie. Kelly, I believe that's her name. Yeah, Kelly is that character. I think she does a great job, but everybody else is just kind of there as far as the performances. I don't think this is really well done, unfortunately. The cinematography for the movie is okay. It does what it needs to do, I guess. Again, not great, but it's fine. Score, I don't remember. It's one of those where I just don't remember it at all for this one. And the story, while the story in itself is fine, I think the story has potential. I just don't know that it was pulled off very well, and it shouldn't be part of this Prom Night franchise, which really, you get into the whole franchise, and it's been a long time since I've seen some of the latter movies in this franchise, but it's almost like at this point the first one and the remake don't belong. Or really, the first one doesn't belong because everything else is just so different. But the first one's what sets the stage, and the rest of these movies just go different directions. And I don't know. I just in case you could tell, I'm not real fond of this one. It just doesn't work. I think there's potential there, but it just wasn't done great. That's really all I know to say on some of that. It was originally made as a standalone film, entitled The Haunting of Hamilton High, but it was retitled to capitalize on the success of the original Prom Night, which was also produced by Peter Simpson. Simpson later stated that he felt retitling this film hurt its reputation. I don't think it hurt this reputation. I think it hurt the reputation of the original, to be honest with you, because I just don't think this one works. I've heard this movie compared to Carrie, which makes some sense. There's definitely some similarities there, but it's not as good. I've heard this movie compared to A Nightmare on Elm Street. Again, there's some things about it that I could see where the comparison comes from, but nowhere near as good. I feel like this was something where, obviously they even admit to it. They retitled it to try to capitalize on the success of Prom Night, and I guess we're able to do so since it had the same producer. But yeah, I don't know how many times I can say it just doesn't work. The only connection between the two films is them being set at the same high school. Um, yeah, that's pretty much all I have for production notes. Not a lot there for this movie. So let's go ahead and get into the plot and walk through this one a little bit. Um, yeah, I just watched this. I'd seen this movie once before a long time ago, and then just did a rewatch the other day to get ready to do this episode. Yeah, don't know if I'll watch it again, but we'll just leave it at that for now. The film opens up with different shots of this school. We meet a character named Mary Lou, who's at a confession, and then we get to the prom, 1957 prom, where Mary Lou's date for the prom, Billy, ends up catching her making out with another guy named Buddy. Um, from there, Mary Lou gets named prom queen. Billy, very upset with her, throws a stink bomb at her when she's accepting her, her crown and everything as a joke. But the stink bomb ends up causing Mary Lou's dress to catch fire, and she ends up burning to death there in front of everyone. Um, the opening is fine. I mean, it's again, the story has potential. The opening is not bad. I just don't think the performances are great, so that hurts this a little bit. If the performances were better in this movie, and I don't know, somebody else may completely disagree with me, and that's perfectly fine. But I feel like if the performances in this movie were better, things would have been better overall for the film. A runtime of 97 minutes is not long, but I feel like I feel every minute of that 97 minutes in this movie. It was one that when I was rewatching it the other day, because I couldn't remember hardly anything about it from when I had watched it the first time. And so when I watched it this second time to get ready for this, I just found myself like, well, okay, I don't remember any of this, and I kind of wish it would hurry up. I felt like there's a lot of parts here that even when things are supposed to be happening, I still feel like it just drags. I feel like I said every moment of this 97-minute runtime. Mary Lou catching fire. I mean, it all looks okay. It doesn't look horrible, but it doesn't, I don't think, look really great either. And it's just, the opening's just fine. It's okay. From there, we cut to, we meet our main character for the film. Her name is Vicky. Talking to her parents, she's wanting a dress for the prom. We realize very quickly that while Vicky's dad wants her to have it, her mom is very religious, doesn't think a new dress is necessary. We also meet a few of the other characters, some friends of hers. We meet the principal, who turns out to be Billy, her boyfriend from Mary Lou's boyfriend from the opening scene. Vicky ends up finding, she's looking around kind of in what looks like the basement of the school. I think it's like the prop area, but she ends up finding the crown and the cape that were supposed to be given to Mary Lou there when she won prom queen. She finds them in this trunk. She takes them out and has them with her there at the school, but this seems to release Mary Lou's spirit. And then that night, Vicky's friend Jess, who is still there in the school, she's trying to remove the jewels from this crown, and she is then killed by an unseen force. And then we see the jewels go back into the crown. We also find out that Buddy, the person that Mary Lou is making out with in the opening scene, is a priest now, and Jess's death is ruled a suicide. Again, this is not a bad kill. I can definitely see the Nightmare on Elm Street comparisons here for this kill. Again, it's just not as good in my opinion. It's done okay. It's fine. It's just it's not fantastic. I don't think Jess's performance is bad. This particular actress does a decent job here for what little bit we get her character, I feel like. We also got a scene a little bit prior to this where Jess and Vicky were talking, and we get the impression that Jess might be pregnant, and so that is ruled as the cause of her committing suicide, is not ready to deal with this pregnancy. Again, it's just kind of fine. I feel like that may be the word of the day for this episode, is this was fine. From there, Vicky starts having hallucinations involving Mary Lou. There's some of these hallucinations aren't bad. There's one in the cafeteria. There's a volleyball one. There's just several different hallucinations. And we also begin to realize that Billy, the principal, may be starting to worry that Mary Lou is back, even though he kind of tries to hide that. We get Vicky going to confession and talking to the priest, Buddy. The coolest scene probably in this movie then is she has another hallucination where when she's in her bedroom, where this rocking horse that she has in this bedroom seems to come to life. This is actually pretty creepy looking. I liked this hallucination. It's probably the one that I thought looked the best, and thought this scene was actually pretty good. I mean, it's silly, but I still thought it looked good, and did have a kind of a creepy feel to it. Buddy, the priest, he ends up trying to get rid of this spirit. He's trying to, do this. I don't know, exorcism, I guess you might say. It's odd. It's different than a lot of exorcisms you see in movies. But his Bible ends up catching fire. We do see Buddy and Billy both having conversations with, like flashbacks of them having conversations with Mary Lou, I think. But we also get them currently talking to her, like wanting her to go away. And that does seem to be everyone's take is, I say everyone, these two characters at least, that Mary Lou is back. Vicky and her boyfriend Craig, we see them having some conversation. During another hallucination in the school, Vicky slaps Kelly, who is kind of the girl that keeps giving her a hard time throughout the film and wants to be prom queen. Again, I feel like the actress that plays Kelly probably has the best performance in this movie. I liked her, and you're not supposed to, but just, I couldn't buy any of the other characters really based on performance, and this one I bought, so I liked this character. After slapping Kelly, Vicky ends up getting detention, and then the blackboard in the classroom that she's in ends up turning into basically like a whirlpool. Vicky gets pulled into this whirlpool and ends up becoming possessed while there. And then afterwards, now she's, looking different, acting different. She goes to confession again, but she ends up killing Buddy, the priest there at confession. I feel like this particular actress did a little better here playing this possessed character than she did at playing her original character. If that makes any sense. I bought her performance better here. I still don't think it was fantastic, but it was better. The whirlpool scene where she gets pulled in is kind of cool. It's not bad. It's again, that and that rocking horse scene are probably the two better scenes in this movie, in my opinion. And again, I see here the comparisons to Nightmare on Elm Street. As I said, Vicky's attitude is changing. The style that she wears is changing and throwing people off. We see a teacher hit on Vicky, and she ends up like causing. It's like in a chemistry class or something, and she causes a burner thing to go off and burns him. Monica, another friend of hers, ends up confronting her, and then we have the shower scene where Vicky then. It's almost like they almost give a hint that these two are in some kind of a relationship, like just the way they're acting in the shower. But then Monica also seems freaked out by it afterwards. And then we get a scene where, Vicky's running around chasing Monica there in the locker room. Monica tries to hide in a locker and ends up getting crushed. Not a bad scene here either. Again, it's not great, but it's fine for the most part, I guess. Cool concept. Vicky also attacks Craig briefly. She starts tormenting Billy. There's a scene where she's getting ready to go to the prom, and her dad is talking to her, and she almost starts like making out with her dad before the mom walks in and catches them. Very odd scene. Again, Vicky's possessed by Mary Lou, so she's behaving different. But the fact that the dad he seemed shocked, but was just going along with it was awkward, I thought. Craig, who is again Vicky's boyfriend, and we find out is Buddy, his son. He's wanting to go try to find Vicky, but Buddy ends up knocking out his own son, so he doesn't go to look for Vicky, and then he goes. He ends up digging up Mary Lou's grave to see if she's there, but instead it's Billy's body that's in the grave. We then cut to prom. We find that Kelly, who has been talking to this guy named Josh, who is in charge of the votes and getting everything together and announcing who's going to win prom queen. Kelly performs a sexual favor on Josh so that she could be he'll rig the votes for her to be the prom queen, but then after she leaves the room, then there's more supernatural stuff going on, and Josh ends up getting electrocuted there at his computer, which causes him to not be able to rig the votes, and Vicky goes ahead and wins the prom queen. Craig arrives. We get this crazy scene where Billy's there with a gun. He ends up shooting Vicky because he knows Mary Lou's possessed her, and he's trying to put a stop to her. At that point, there's a really weird scene where Mary Lou then just basically like busts out of Vicky, very similar to what Freddy does in Nightmare on Elm Street 2, where Mary Lou's able to now escape Vicky and just starts destroying the prom. And I feel like here's probably some of the Carrie references kind of going on. In the process of destroying the prom and just causing things to go crazy, she ends up killing Kelly. She gets into a fight with Craig. Billy also, he's kind of up there on this platform up above where he, shot Vicky from. He ends up falling and injuring himself. We get to the prop room. Where things are going on, and Mary Lou basically is trying to catch and kill Craig, and then Billy ends up showing up there, and he gives Mary Lou her crown, and when he does, her grave explodes. But this seems to put an end to Mary Lou. We find out that now Vicky is fine. She's locked up in this trunk. How she got there from being shot on stage, I have no idea, but she's in this trunk now, and Craig lets her out. Billy approaches them and finds out that they're okay and offers to give them a drive, offers to drive them home from the prom. But then once they get in the car and take off, then we discover as Billy turns around and begins to talk to Vicky and Craig, we find out that Billy is now possessed by Mary Lou. And that's where the film ends. And that's, I know that's a very brief, quick run through, but that's it. And this movie, I mean, again, there's a few good scenes. I mentioned already the rocking horse hallucination scene, the blackboard scene, the prom scene where, Mary Lou starts destroying things is fine. Again, I thought it was awkward that Mary Lou busts out of Vicky. Again, very Nightmare on Elm Street 2 like, and I don't like that in Nightmare on Elm Street 2. It's done better there, so I certainly don't like it here. I feel like there's things that don't make sense here. How Vicky's body went from being shot on stage and looking like she was dead to now being in this trunk and has no gunshot wounds whatsoever doesn't make a lot of sense to me. How Mary Lou, when she gets her crown and her grave explodes, how did she possess Billy? Where did that come from? I just feel like that this movie is a reach. There was, as I've mentioned a couple of times, there was potential for this to be not a bad film. I would rather they have kept the original name and not tried to cash in on the Prom Night and try to make it a sequel when they really have nothing to do with each other. That annoys me a little bit. So that probably also weakens my thoughts on this film. I don't think, I know we're probably sitting here talking about it for the last 15 minutes or so. I've probably made it sound like this is a terrible movie. I don't think this movie is terrible. I just don't think it's any good either. There's a few good things here and there, but it's very few. And again, I don't think the performances are great with the couple of exceptions. A lot of plot holes, and then just not liking the fact that it's Prom Night 2 because it just does not work. So many things that I dislike about this film. There's too many for the few things that I do like to really even balance out. I don't think this is a horrible movie on my scale of 1 to 10. It's not so bad that I would give it a 1, a 2, or even a 3, I guess, but that's where it stops, and I would give it a 4. Hello, Mary Lou, Prom Night 2 gets a 4 out of 10 for me. This one's very disappointing. It's not a great movie, in my opinion, at all. I don't know, if I had to watch it again, I might even lower that to a 3, but I'll say 4 for now, and not plan on watching this one again. That's my thoughts on Hello, Mary Lou, Prom Night 2. Now I'm curious as to what you think. Do you enjoy this movie? Do you, get a totally different vibe watching it than what I've gotten? Or do you feel the same way? If you've seen this film, leave me some comments and let me know what you think about this movie. I really appreciate the interaction. I feel like I say that every time, but I do. I do this one primarily because it's just fun. I'm not doing this for numbers and recognition and that kind of thing. I appreciate the subscribers and I do want the channel to grow, but that's not my reason for doing it. I'm doing it because I love talking horror, right? But I also love the interaction. That's one of my favorite things about doing this. So I love it when people leave comments, giving me their thoughts on these movies or giving me their thoughts on the channel. Hit the like button today. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do so. I've got some fun episodes coming. Plan right now is I'm going to go see Ready or Not 2 this weekend and hopefully have a review of that come up on Monday. Also next week, Kelly and Sarah from the Final Girls podcast are going to be back. They've been going through the Jeepers Creepers franchise with me, and so they're going to come back on, and we're going to talk Jeepers Creepers Reborn. My friend Aaron from A&B Horror Movies, he's going to come back on, and we're going to talk about A Nightmare on Elm Street 2, funny enough. So yeah, some good episodes coming, some fun stuff coming. Be sure and subscribe. I've got a live coming up later this month with Brendan from Our Life in Horror. Maybe Sam, don't know if she'll make it or not, but Brendan went through the entire Scream franchise with me recently up until the new one, and then I did an episode on it separately, and I believe he may have done an episode on it separately, but he's going to come back, and we're just going to talk about the whole franchise in general now, rank those films. That's coming. There's a lot of fun stuff coming, so be sure and hit that subscribe button if you haven't done so yet. Like I said, hit the like button for me today, hit the hype button for me, leave me some comments, follow me on social media. I'm on just about everything out there. I think I am on everything out there, actually. Blue Sky, Instagram, Threads, TikTok, X. I have a letterbox. Just search Sean's Horror Corner. You'll be able to find all of that there. I do try to follow back as much as possible. I know I missed some here and there. I'm sorry about that. But so subscribe, like, hype, comment, share, follow, do all the things. And I'll be back in a couple of days to talk about Ready or Not 2 from seeing that at the theater. So thank you again for watching. I will see you soon.